Welcome to the MantraDad podcast. I'm your host, Adam Marchakos, and today my guest is Mirishae, spiritual life coach and divinity leader. Welcome, Mirishae, to the MantraDad studios.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. Woohoo!
I've watched a few of your videos. I'm excited to kind of drop in with you. I know you have a lot to share. Please just bring me up to speed, how you got to Kauai, and what you're here to offer.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm happy. Yeah, so many things have happened. So Kauai was not planned at all. I lived in the Bay Area for about 20 years and doing a lot of social justice work there, teaching. And I came here in 2019 on a spiritual, it was called Divine Child. So it was like a spiritual meditation retreat, 10 days, and it just changed my whole life. Literally, a few months later, I moved here. I was called to Kauai. I know people get that, but I was literally called to Kauai, and I've been here ever since, almost 2 years now.
Nice. I was also called to Kauai, and I'm sure most people that are visiting here are called in one way or another. So tell me kind of what was that call? Was it an inner calling? Was it from somebody else that called you here? How do you...
I got a phone call. No, just kidding. Come to Kauai. No, yeah, it was definitely an inner calling, and I do listen to that inner calling, those messages, follow my passion. My whole life I've lived that way, which is not very traditional, but it's what's kept me happy and in alignment with my purpose. So I feel the calling had to do more with a way that I was living my life in the Bay Area, even though I was doing very passionate, amazing work. I was a community organizer, associate director with the Black Organizing Project. I learned so much. I loved the work, people, all amazing. There was a way that I was I wanted something different. I think I was ready for a transition already, but I didn't plan to come here. So I felt like that calling was a deep internal message. Like, it was divine. It was definitely connected to, well, people say universe, God, divine, mother. It was that. And I felt that I wanted to do something that was directly connected to supporting other people in their transformational healing. Because I felt so much healing in a 10-day period, like it was ridiculous. Connecting deeper to divine, connecting and clearing some old wounds, father, mother wounds, and really learning more about myself and how I am in the world and what I can offer that's different than what I was doing before. Even though there's always been a component in my work that's been mentoring and coaching and like life coaching, helping people get to where they need to go. This was a little more overt. I'd say it's more overt, where I'm talking about spirit guides and karma and all these kinds of things. So. Yeah.
So good job for taking yourself on a little bit and listening to that inner calling and arriving into a place that is, just by being here, is kind of a healing, transformative environment, and people like yourself surrounding yourself with new energies. And so how have you been received here thus far?
I have to say it's been very different. I'm surprised. Definitely received with that aloha spirit that people talk about in Kauai. I feel like it just feels like coming home, even though, this is the first time, since that other time that I lived here. And everywhere I go, I get people are curious about me, very kind. I just taken right in, and the weather, the plants, just everything. It just feels exactly what I want. I've always wanted to live on a tropical island, so now that dream has come true.
Excellent. Welcome home.
Mm-hmm.
So have you been offering some of your services to people here on Kauai, and how has that been received?
I have actually, yes. I've worked with some beautiful clients here. And also, it's like just talking about my work. I've done some exchange work with people who are already in the healing profession, who do shiatsu or do massage or offer other or counseling. Been received very well, especially with body pain. I focus a lot with that and focus and stress and exhaustion, because what I do and offer is what I've worked through in my own healing and my own process. So it's like what I know. I've had horrible body pain, specifically in my womb and my ovaries, that I had to overcome. I could talk a little more later about that if you want. And stress and exhaustion is a big one. It really does mess us up. But it's actually a symptom from something much deeper too. So to go the deeper part, I mean, if I'm just doing a one-off session, then that's it's beautiful. But I, would want to work with someone a longer period of time to go deeper into the root of the issue. But yeah, I've been received well here. Yeah. And most of my clients I work with are on the mainland, but yeah, definitely I've worked with some people.
So you work through Zoom or FaceTime or on the phone? How does that work?
Yeah, I work through Zoom, absolutely. And it's definitely, to see the client and then they see me and we, have create this beautiful space vortex together to do the healing work. Yeah, so that works out nice.
So the healing work, is this something that just kind of channels through you? Are you using any special techniques that are unique to your own being?
So I'd say a combination. Definitely unique to my being. So how should I start here? So I would say the first place I always go is grounding and a meditative place. So that's for everybody. And most people have that already. They have some semblance of what it means to do a grounding or meditation, right? And then from there, building on it. So then there is a place of coming and connecting with your own love and the divine love, God, universe, connecting there. And then I do work with spirit guides, my own, and I channel energies, or they directly work. Sometimes there's angels that come in and support. There's just so much here in Kauai. It's Divine Mama Kauai. She's usually here with us in the session, when we're doing the work. And then I do a combination. So my program, I put creativity in there. I do, of course, meditation. I do visualizations. Your MantraDad. So mantras, our affirmations are a big part of the healing process. And definitely I look at, so it's the mind, body, and spirit. So looking at the physical body and what's happening. So it's not like you have to be drug free or alcohol free. You can have to be doing that while we're working together. But it is important to look at what you are eating. I don't think you should be eating McDonald's every day. You know what I'm saying?
Not the most healing food, huh?
But so looking at some of the food stuff and a lot of it really is connected to relationships too. So like, what does your environment look like? What relationships are you in or not in? What is your relationship to wanting to even like get better? So there's a way, like that's the biggest yes. So once you say yes to it, actually I noticed I've been stuck in this negative pattern. I've been attracting all the wrong people in my life, or I've been in this horrible dead-end job where I'm constantly stressed and exhausted no matter what I do. Then I'm probably someone you would want to work with. And then we go deeper into the reasons why. And usually there's a wound, a mama or daddy wound that we work through. Yeah.
So I've heard where the wound is, that's where the light can shine through. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It seems like, being a human, we're going to go through stuff, and, some things more intense than others. And would you agree that maybe, the body is kind of like storing all of this energy and trauma, and maybe what you're doing is helping to move this energy that's kind of been stuck and dormant?
Absolutely. And I feel like, we're really good with our head and thinking and strategy and moving all the parts with our head. But what happens a lot is the energy that you're talking about, it really gets trapped below the waist. So I work a lot of releasing that through the lower chakras, particularly with women. That's why we do suffer from horrible menstrual cycles and cysts and fibroids and all the things, and have miscarriages. There's just a lot going on for us women and men too. Prostate cancer. It just gets trapped there. There's a lot of toxic anger, toxic grief that has not been moved through, and it gets stored. And even weight, often it's just inflammation. It's just a lot of trapped emotions, trapped feelings that have not been able to move through. And it's like, we're going to always have something we have to move through, but when it gets stuck and you're just like living in this perpetual kind of nightmare, really, and you're like, why am I always broke, or why did I attract the wrong man, or why am I feeling sick? It's not the normal state of our divine being. So really being able to clear that crap out. I want to say the other word.
Go
Clear
ahead.
it out. Get rid of that crap and really get into feeling like love and abundance and happiness and pleasure and just feeling like lit up. You wake up in the morning, you're like, ooh, I'm lit up. I've got this amazing life that I'm stepping into. And that's really what I'm excited to serve when I'm serving clients and working to give me all my free tips to the world. Like, I want to see more people lit up and feeling happy like I do. I feel excited to be alive every day, excited to be on the show.
Yeah, I really
So,
feel that from you, and,
yeah.
and your videos, it really is coming through, and I'm feeling a real authenticity from you that you're sharing and you're giving because you want this world to be better, and you want to surround yourself with more joyous and prosperous people who really aren't a slave to either their mindsets or even their bodies. So it sounds like you're really helping people kind of alleviate some of the pressures or stresses, and creating a plan, I would say, on finding more joy and bliss in life, and seems to be that is really the key.
Absolutely. I feel like, and for people, really, there's a lot of shame and guilt associated with, oh, why am I not more happy? And like, not for people to feel like, keep going into that, like, self sabotage or that self hatred or that place of like feeling so guilty about it. And it's just, this society has been designed for us not to live in a certain way unless we have that beautiful house or that car or that gorgeous husband or wife or whatever. Like, there's just so much pressure on us to be perfect or to look a certain way and act a certain way. It's a lot, even though we're going through all these other things and our families have been going through a lot too. So it's not, so for people not to feel like there's anything wrong with them for feeling, what they're feeling or going through. It's like, it's almost like it's part of, in some ways, the human design to, that part. I just won't go too much in the human. I don't want to go into that place, but more so like I was thinking of like capitalism and patriarchy and how that really like just kills our soul. It does, and I do believe all of us deserve beautiful things, like, and have beautiful house or whatever we want to make us happy. But there's a way, killing our soul. Patriarchy it's not the way.
So you're really touching on some big topics here, which I'm really happy that you brought a lot of this up. It does need to be spoken about in kind of a long form setting where we can say, okay, so this really isn't working. It's been like this for, how many thousands of years even, and as a man, I try not to take too much of that on, and I try to live from a little bit more of a higher vibration so that these endless power dynamics can kind of come to an end, and feel optimistic about the way we move forward with cooperation, and really not trying to control anybody, and allowing people to be them, to give their gifts authentically into this world, and hopefully make it a better place for ourselves, our kids, and the next 7 generations down the line. I mean, it's really up to us to shift the dynamic. And it sounds like you really have a good grasp on kind of how we got here and what we need to do to move forward. So
and I've been very inspired. Like, I feel like so much of my work is like the people that I've worked with, not only my clients, but like I've been so inspired by them and their work and their lives and how much they already give so much and got depleted by overgiving. And I understand that because I definitely have come from that place too of overgiving to the point where it's made me literally sick in the hospital, in the ER. But what was I going to say about that one? Something about the overgiving, but I lost my train of thought for a moment.
I think you said it. So really it's kind of coming into a balance, a divine balance where it's, masculine and feminine are in unity. And, I think that's really the goal. Like, yoga is the goal is to be union and yoked with the divine. And hopefully we can live from a more balanced and centered spot. So, we're not getting burned out by just everyday life. And actually we're feeling more empowered to, bring something to the world that is uplifting.
Exactly. And it's like, you don't have to do so many things to just be able to like barely get by on the surface. Like, before I still do yoga every day. I love it. I have my 15-minute morning practice and call it my morning ritual, and I do my meditation and grounding and gratitudes, of course, and mantras have that. But it feels like I have to do so much less because I've cleared out a lot, and I don't have that stress and exhaustion or body pain that was so crazy. I would do acupuncture, counseling, go into nature, like exercise extra, like just do a lot, to just barely feel like getting its surface. And I think what kept me there is I was gonna say this before, and then it came back to me, is inspiration, and how many people I've been so inspired by their leadership, moms, dads, the way that they've led their life, like different from the status quo, living their passions. And it's inspired me to actually do this work now today. And so I just wanted to drop some names in there: Jackie Ladaba and Jackie Byers, Jessica Black, and Mana. The names go on. There's so many people that I can go on and just talk about, because it's really helped me step even more into my personal power. And ultimately that's where I feel like we're trying to hopefully get into our personal power, like you talked before about balance, like being in that balance and like being able to really express your authentic true self to the world and share your abilities and gifts, because that's what our planet needs. We need that more than ever, for us to really do what we were called here to be and provide and do in the world.
Beautiful. Well said. Thank you. I wanted to kind of touch on your spiritual practices. What are you doing? And specifically, this is the MantraDad podcast. So what are some of those affirmations or mantras that you use personally?
Oh, yes, many. I am love. I am prosperous, healthy, and divine. I am living in my purpose. I am the universe in ecstatic motion. Oh, let's see. It's different ones. I touch people with my light and my gifts, and I am so grateful for that. I live in my divine purpose. And then I'll say it over. I am healed. I am one with the divine and spirit. Yeah.
Wow.
And I listen to guided meditations as well. And eventually I do want to create a guided meditation you could just click on and listen to for inspiration and grounding.
Well, beautiful mantras. I really loved every one of those. One of the reasons I do this podcast is so I can learn some great new words of affirmation that really do infuse my inner being with more love and light, so that I can kind of move through the world in a more positive and optimistic way and inspired. And I feel like words really do help to really embody that love that is here and is our birthright. Can you talk a little bit about how words have really empowered you in your world?
Absolutely. And then one thing I do want to speak to is to the shadow, because often when we're talking about healing, light work, energy work, we focus a lot on the love, which we need to. But it's also talking about if you do wake up and you're feeling, or anytime, dude, you're feeling shame, you're feeling guilt, you're feeling sadness, anger, you're feeling a lot of scarcity, which sometimes may not even be yours. It may be someone close to you, or in the society. There's just a lot there. Or the fear is really strong. It's like, I release fear, I release scarcity. That no longer serves me. I want to bring it. I'm bringing in love. I am peace. I am pleasure. I am healed. So to also be to be able to release that and name that is powerful when we're going and talking about words. So then your next part, you said you're asking about the words that inspired me.
Well, it sounds like you really are answering my question for sure. I mean, with everything you're saying. Let's talk about the shadow just a little bit more, because recently I've gone through some shadow work that I never done before, and part of that work was to name it, and to kind of, okay, so it's like mine was like I am inadequate shadow, so kind of like, which is like, I know is just total illusion, but it was important for me to kind of go through that work and it be supported. It was in a men's group, that was the setting, and I couldn't believe how helpful that was for me to go through that and to give it a voice, and to kind of see how persistent it can be. I mean, it's kind of what it's called, the shadow. It's kind of, it's always there with you. However, like, what is the point of going there? Is it to integrate that shadow? It's to send more love to it, to give it kind of what it needs? Or how would you integrate that shadow into your everyday life, or to, give it a little bit more light?
That is such a great question. I love it. Integrate the shadow. And I like that when you talked about you're in a men's group, in a men's space, and that provides so much safety, and that brotherhood is very, very important. So I love that you talked about that, and that there's a space to talk about you said inadequately. So there's just a lot that can be said about the shadow. I feel like the way to integrate is first to acknowledge it, like you said, and put words to what's happening. Like, okay, there's a shadow. This is part of me. And it doesn't have to be the fear, demon, negative, locked in the basement. I'm never going to look at it. Because I feel like if you just completely do that, there's a way that it's disavowed. It's not all the way. The thing, like fear, for instance, let's talk about fear, because I feel like that's one of our big shadows. And it's been one of mine, literally fear of the dark when I was little. And there's a reason I was scared of the dark. But so much stuff, I would see things at night that weren't there, but they were there, spirits and anyways, but had to overcome that one. The dark, fear of the dark. It's just facing it. So facing it, talking to it, almost like if you've heard of Gestalt therapy, where it's like parts work. If I'm taking out a part, so there's a fear part, and I'm looking at it, and I'm talking to it, and I'm actually looking at where it exists in my body. Usually there is a place. It could exist everywhere, but this is usually how I work. I'm like, often it's in the throat, and I was like, okay, if fear is existing, or what is it possibly that you need to communicate, you need to say, what's happening, and just starting to do a little bit of talk therapy with the fear. And then eventually it comes out, oh, actually I was scared to say this to my partner, or my boss said this and I never got the chance, just to get it out. And that opens up. And then we're talking about energy, and then we're talking about putting a name to it. And then the fear is not actually gets named, and it's not so scary. It's not locked up in the dungeon with chains. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's out, and we can talk about it, and it could come up again, and we're just like, oh, here it comes again. Like, I talk also about the little monkeys, like the judger monkeys. I get internal judgment of being perfect. Even coming on the show, I want my hair. I want to
join the club.
I'm like, oh, there's a little judger monkey coming, and I make a little joke. And just as long as I can move through it, or if I'm feeling something really sad, I'm like, okay, I'm going to move through it. I don't want to be stuck in it for weeks and weeks, because then there's something else deeper, I believe, that needs to be addressed. But yeah, just allowing that shadow to surface and to face it and to ask questions. You can write, you can meditate, maybe it's like you just need some time away from the busy world, busy life, just to go internal and say, what is this? What's going on? What's the root? Like, follow the root, follow it. Because the shadow has a place of origin. So what is the inadequacy connected to?
Yeah,
really
that's a good
following
question.
the root, like always follow it to the source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like also how you said, well, it may not even be yours. Like, it might not even be something that you can even trace back to. But however, it's like, oh wait, that person has this inadequacy, and I somehow took that on. And I won't name that person.
You don't want to do a shout out right now? That would be fun. No,
but I realized, wow, this is actually not even mine. So it actually was kind of easier to let it go in some way, because it's like, wow, this isn't even something that I, like, it came from my story. However, I guess we're all we're all unified. So it is me in a way. And like, me is actually like a lot bigger than just this Adam guy. And how, I could hear things, see things, that becomes part of my identity. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's there. That little sticky, muddy, whatever that can actually be, untangled and see it for what it is. And oh wait, it's actually just not that scary.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, this was just an energetic match. That's how I look at it. Oh, I had an energetic match with this person, and I felt it a little stronger than I normally would, because it's not all mine. Like, and I also like to do percentages. I'll say 1 to 10 or 1 to 100. I'm like, oh, 25% of this feels like me, and 70 it's somebody else, or society, or usually for family a lot, and community. They stick because they're in our heart, and that's such a deep feeling place. So it's easy for us to get connected to other people's shadow stuff, for sure.
It's really interesting. What a great topic to kind of unpack.
Yes, I could talk about this for a long time. How
Well,
long is your show?
it can be as long as we want,
Yeah.
as long as people are still listening. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but hey, you can pop in and out, and I'm sure you're gonna get some nuggets of inspiration from Mirishae for sure. You're bringing the energy today. I like it.
Oh,
I
cool. You
like
can
it.
ask questions. Sure, I'm open book.
Yeah,
As
it's
one of my
almost like
friends said.
it's almost like
It's
you need
amazing.
your own talk show or something where people can call in. Ask
That would be
Mirishae.
fun. Ask Mirishae. I love it.
What would you call your show?
I don't know. Soul questions.
Oh, nice. I thought
Questions
you
of
were
the soul.
gonna say soul crushers. I was like,
Soul
wow.
questions. I know it'd have to be like 2 words and just fun. Maybe
Soul questions. That's
soul
great.
questions is cute. Yeah,
All
I would
right.
do that. We come on I do, and let people come on and ask questions, and we can do like short clearing, divine healings, and chakra clearing. I love that, and I love Reiki, remote Reiki work. And then also what's cool about this too is these are tools that people can take their whole life. So like we do work together and they'll get some more tools in their toolbox and they're like, oh, now I could pull out the thing that I did to work on my shadow, work with my shadow, integrate. Or, oh, I need a ground. Oh, Mirishae, I worked with her and now I know how to do 3 different grounding meditations. Or I'm feeling some trapped energy. I'm going to be able, now I know how to clear my energy in a certain way because I worked with Mirishae around that. Like it's a healing teacher training combined, not like everybody, and not to say that you're going to go out and be the teacher with others, but now you have those different tools in your box, so the different modalities through healing that you can share and use anytime, or with your spouse or with your kids. Like kids are amazing, like all this, like they just are so open and free, and yeah, most of the time they don't even realize they're just in it. They're like, oh, there's my unicorn.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, my daughter has a complete whole imagination that is like chock full of beings and mermaids and unicorns, and because that's kind of what she aligns to. Let's talk a little bit about children. Are new beings coming to this planet to help heal? I've heard that the way that this is going to change, if there is something to be changed here, it's through the children and through the new souls coming in. Can you shed some light into kind of some of these power souls that are coming through?
That's a really interesting. I believe it. I just let it flow, and I see that there's a lot of energetic shifts and where we are in this time period. I feel the baby beings all the time. I say baby beings like they come in as little children. They come into this world and they're just so gifted. I know we talked before about indigo children, and there's just all these different. Yeah, so absolutely. And I feel like we really need to listen to them and let them be their full authentic selves, free and happy and just playful, and we get to watch and mirror a lot of what children already just naturally are,
It's kind of like that become like little children saying, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
have you noticed it with your daughter?
Definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
we kind of called her in Bali. My wife and I conceived her in Bali during a Kundalini training of a 28-day yoga training. And, the idea was to call in a saint or a sage. There's a specific, meditation and work that you do to kind of call that in. And, being parents that are, I would say, conscious and, working to up level, those around me and through my family and the work I do, I feel like family is super, super important. And my daughter Grace really brings a very unique energy, Grace, and what does that, look like? And she's really the personification of that in my life. And, it's really helped me open my heart. And, it's like if you were raising Jesus, or a being, a master, how would you show up? How would you talk to that being? How would you nurture that special consciousness? And really, every being is special, but there are some that seem to bring, an elevated consciousness or deep healing or already healed, something that is happening through these children, especially here on this island. I've run into some pretty evolved beings. You look at them and you go, whoa, something. I want to listen to you. They are the greatest teachers. So yeah, to answer your question, definitely. And I feel like there's a added responsibility. However, it seems to be easy. I feel like, it's easier than I thought it would be, I guess,
Mhm.
to be a dad. And my wife's pregnant as well, so we have another one
Oh,
coming.
congratulations. That's
Thank you.
beautiful.
In December this year, actually, it's gonna happen, gonna pop out. So I'll
Eek.
be holding that thing here on the podcast in December sometime. But
Ooh. And
but
then I was thinking about you and like in this show and how this helps your family and your children. Like you're being the inspiration, they are inspiring you, and then you lead with inspiration. You're doing your own work. Like that's one of the big things I feel like as adults, now that we're adults, that and children, like when we're not doing our work, those wounds that it looks like it repeats. Do you know what I mean? Even when you have the most light being amazing, like this little baby soul that's just so powerful and meant to, like a sage, meant to do this beautiful work on the planet. If the parent how do I say this without judgment, but really having to look at your crap, you know what I mean, and work through some of your stuff. I mean, I'm just saying, because then you could really, in some ways, squash that light that without even knowing it. So being mindful of your own way that you are with children, your own children, other people's children is huge, very big, and so, and it might not be, doesn't mean you have to do a year-long something. Maybe you do a month, or maybe you do a week, or every day you do something small, to like work on yourself, to be more in alignment with light, love, and abundance, and your higher self. Yeah.
yeah, I really work to embody all of that and more.
Oh, practicing what you preach.
It's easy. Yeah, it's easy for me to kind of like to live with that intention that she's a sponge, and all the children around me are also sponges, and yeah, I'd want to really infuse them with some good stuff.
I think you already are.
I'm working on that.
They don't see what I see, but your house is just, yeah.
Look at that picture of her over there. How cute. She's like
come on.
little stoic, little master.
Yeah, already. I love it. Beautiful.
Yes. Wow. Wow, we covered a lot already.
Yeah.
This is a packed podcast for sure.
What other questions do you have?
That's a
Adam?
good. Yeah, I hadn't really the first man here on the island, the Garden Island. So it's almost like okay, yeah, I have a great question. So I started this podcast. It's called MantraDad. It's not necessarily just for men. However, there are, I guess, some responsibilities like we touched on. And so in your mind, like, how can men be better? How can we kind of, okay, there's no patriarchy anymore. Like, let's just get rid of that. And what do we replace that with in your mind? How can men work with women and other men to kind of, be the change?
That's a really good question. I mean, if I had a magic wand and said, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do," I looked to my own family and friends and people that I've seen men move through some heavy stuff, and what they've done and how they've been inspiring to me. I think the beginning is just to ask a question and look into the shadow a bit. Like you talked about within being inadequate, or like a lot of men, there's this feeling like they can't provide enough for their family. There's a lot of shame there, yeah. So I think this asking a question and getting some support, being around people who are supportive. Unfortunately, not all of our friends and family are supportive, loving, and here for our highest good. So really being able to have a couple people that you can talk to about things. Like, I feel like that's the beginning, is to talk about what's happening, hard things that are going on, and start to do something about that, whatever it is, and go into meditation. Start with meditation, start with prayer. And if you feel like you want to join a church or something, that could be your place. Some people are really, that's their thing every Sunday, or they go Bible study on Wednesday or Friday, or go to the monastery, or maybe your church is the river, or the on a hike, or maybe you go fish. So I feel like finding a passion and going there and that's a big outlet for a lot of it's a big release. So creativity is huge. So whatever makes you lit up in your heart. For men, I would say do that. Do that a little bit once a week. And then for sure, find a brother that you could talk to. about what you're going through, because I'm sure you're going through a lot. This is a very hard time for men, and there's a rise of feminine. There's definitely a rise of divine masculine, and then in between, there's a lot of confusion. So I really feel for men. I really do. I work primarily with women, but I have worked with some men, and I'm just like, wow, I'm just blown away of like the complexity and of what they're working with, you know. And so it's a lot of times there's not a lot of what I've seen with men, many men not having the best father figures, role models in their lives to model behavior, model values, and even live in a certain kind of truth, like to be inspired. Or maybe their inspiration is someone that's unobtainable, like Michael Jordan, or you know, or it's someone that's in entertainment, which is cool, but it's not like you can go and talk to them and hang out and share
So
and be vulnerable.
Find someone close, and
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
even if it's on Zoom or sometime when you can see somebody's face and, you know, be in their presence in one way or another.
Oh, the other thing I would say that's I feel with a lot of men that shut down is their emotional center. So really being able as much like connect to the heart, it would be great. Like whatever's in that heart, and right at the surface could be a lot. There's a lot of suffering, pain, sadness. Hey, that's all good. But really, really moving through that. And if you need help, hey, I'm here. There's other people too, you know, you can reach out to, or you may have to, invest some money, and it's going to be well spent because it's going to change your life. But really, heart emotions are shut down a lot. And feeling shame around crying and that is all part of the release. If I don't cry once a week, I feel like something's wrong. And it's not because I'm necessarily sad. Sometimes I'm crying because I'm just so happy. There's so much love. And I'm just like, oh my God. I look at a tree sometimes, I'm like, I am very sensitive too. I'm so touched. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you do that exactly.
There's
but
been
really
a lot of tears on this podcast, so it's okay.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, release for sure. It's a tool, just like anything else. Get those tear ducts flowing and not identifying with that shame, like identifying with the joy that is, you know, really overflowing in every little molecule of source. You know, it's just like embodied as perfection. So knowing that's you as well. I mean, this body is incredible. The way that we can, you know, integrate into this world, like all these receptors, you know, everywhere. Like you're just here to absorb this beauty. Come on, people. Like get with the program. Like there's so much love out there, and it's in here too. And you know, I really heard everything you said, and especially, you know, with regards to men and. Yeah, we're struggling. Women are struggling too. Like there's unity in the struggle, like here and on humanity, and we're going through stuff. Like if you're a man out there, and you know there's something that is that needs to be unearthed. You know, seek out. Like there are people, Mirishae being one of them, who can help you unearth some of this. It's like you're going fossil hunting in a way, and you can kind of clear it out and. You know, uncover these like little nuggets of truth and connecting to something that is eternal, you know, instead of just this passing, you know, and you touched on a lot of things there and the emotional body. How can men really, and you already answered some of these questions, but open the heart? It seems like it's, you know, if we use that too much, I feel it can become trite in a way. Like, oh, just open your heart, man. You know, like,
right.
Like what is that? How do we do that? Is it through meditation? Is it, you know, you gave a lot of specifics, but can you talk about how does one open their heart?
Probably we're looking at the shadow, because if your heart isn't opened already, there's probably reasons why. That's most likely connected to lineage, trauma. It could be connected, some old wounding for sure. And so look at that baggage, because I do feel it's not the responsibility necessarily of the partner to carry your baggage. Like you have to really, and this is hard for me to say too, because women, we just naturally do it. We carry it all. It's like what we're born expected to do. But I feel like at some point we have to be like, look, all right, you got to work through some of the stuff. I'm talking about men and women too. We need to look at our stuff and don't expect just you could throw stuff at the man or your children or family. Like you need to really look at why is your heart, what's happening once again. So it's like following the root. Like, so if you're like, I can't how do I open my heart? I guess if you don't, some people don't have children, so children really help you open the heart really quick. That heart chakra. I feel like what does make you feel happy? If you have a very hard time finding anything in this on God's green earth, in this universe that makes you smile or happy, you probably really need to work with somebody right away, right away, immediately, 911. But yeah, if you can think of a few things, like maybe you want to just write them out, like, oh, this is making me happy, and try to do one of those things. Literally, if it's like, I need a day off so I can get a massage, or I need, I want to hang out with my friend and have dinner. Cool. You know, I want to go watch the game. I don't know, whatever that thing is that's going to make you feel happy and joy, it really will start to open your heart. And touch is important, because right now with the coronavirus and stuff, I know people aren't touching as much. But if you can give someone a hug, really opens up the heart chakra. Like when you say open the heart, big. I know how men, they do that. Hey, you know, they don't always hug both arms.
Bro.
Hey, bro, what's up?
up?
But yeah, put your arms around somebody. You know what I'm saying?
And
if you can.
Don't do the liver hug, right? Do the heart hug.
Do
right?
the heart hug. Yeah, put the heart to a heart. And yeah, there's a lot of ways to open your heart. I do feel like creativity is a big one.
It's
so
a
you
good
have
one.
any creative, if you love playing music and you have not played in a while, pick up that ukulele, that banjo. I don't know.
I have one right over there. Yeah.
Your drum,
Yeah, for sure.
pick it up. You know, music is a huge outlet to open open the heart. So yeah. So those are a few things.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just loaded with spiritual information, and you know, doesn't even need to be labeled spiritual. This is just like life. You know.
Life.
Beautiful. That's why you're a life coach.
Oh, thank you. What about you? What are some things you do that open your heart?
Great question. Yeah, I mean, I love playing music. I use this setup and these mics to create mantra music with my wife and my friends. I'll record that. That always makes me so lit up, and that's a new passion for me. It's not like that's been in my life forever. It's just like, you know, I feel like the coronavirus did help me go within and find more creativity. I like to draw. Like I draw these cool things and paint with my daughter. She helps me with the colors, and we have, like, you know, so much fun with that. I like to go walk by the ocean or swim in the ocean. Just hanging out with my family always brings me love. Jumping on the trampoline, you know, going for a bike ride, or lots of different things. It's easy to find lots of things here on the island that bring that love in. And like we mentioned, Mama Kauai, it's like the most nurturing, you know, loving place, and it can be challenging to live here as well. So I mean, it's just like it's a balance. But yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah, I know. I was going to add a few of mine. Crystals. Oh, me too. I love crystals. I love definitely nature. So I came to the right place because nature everywhere. So walking in nature, swimming, definitely yoga. I feel like talking with people, hugs, like it's almost every little thing. Music. I love dancing. So I just hear music and I start dancing, playing my 90s music, 90s stuff. I love anything 90s. Yeah, it just feels like it's pretty easy breathing air in and out, being happy to be alive. And I feel my body feels very healthy, and I just feel very, very blessed. Like, it feels like so many things give me happy. Serving clients, I feel so much joy and pleasure from that. And connecting with family, travel, everything. Service lights me up.
Definitely something that opens the heart for me. Like, I run a rental car business right now, so it's just like that's, you know, the income portion of my life. And just doing that, it sounds like, oh, come on, that's just so transactional, whatever. But I really get a lot of joy and help from helping people, you know, and that's something that people really need right now is a little support in the transportation world here on Kauai because of the rental car situation. So
right, it's epidemic over here. If you don't know, now you know, because you come here. You better get some reservations.
You better get a car reservation for sure.
Yeah.
So let's see. You've been here how many years? 3 years?
2 now. I mean, July 19th would be 2 years. Yeah.
Nice.
Can't believe it.
So have you enjoyed some of the waterfall hikes, or what's been some of your most favorite places to visit here?
Oh my gosh, there's so many places. Hopi Falls, I love that one. I love Rock Quarry over there. Kalihiwa. I go there often. Sleeping Giant is one of my regular hikes. I just do it like, oh my gosh, amazing. The cave at the top. And then I've started surfing again. So I surf in front of the Aston Islander, Waialua Beach, which actually is pretty nice because for the most part, it's a sandy bottom and it's gentle waves. I'm a beginner. I met a friend who I just recently went surfing in Kalapaki. They started doing the boat races again, so that was cool last Saturday or Saturday before last. There was like a boat race and watching that, I guess kayak boat, there's like 6 people on and they go and race.
Oh yeah, those are fun to watch.
That was cool. So yeah, just everything. So many different places here on the island, and there's that, and it's more in the North Shore. Like Hanalei is gorgeous, Lumahai Beach, and then of course I've gone over Kokei, Waimea Canyon. All over there is just it's just everywhere.
You've been around. You hit all the hot spots.
Yeah, the turtles. Ooh.
Oh my God, there's so much.
Could go on, and there's still a lot more to explore.
Yeah, you could live a whole lifetime here and not really see it all.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
How about Kalalau? Have you been out there yet?
You know what? I haven't done that one. I feel like that might be too, like, when people are like, oh, you got to bring everything. I'm like, okay, 2-hour hike to the beach, but then keep going. I don't know. That just sounds like a lot. And I like to hike.
11 miles later, if you're still alive, you might be able to enjoy it.
Have you done that one?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I know. I need to. I want to. I've gotten so many invitations. I just have to, go. Yeah. Geez.
Do you want to, though? I mean, it is pretty intense.
It sounds intense, but it also seems like no risk, no reward, I like to say sometimes. If you're not kind of leaning in your edges, you're not growing. So it sounds like you've taken some risks to get here, although this seems like it was like meant for you, this place, and some people just feel home. And have you ever heard that Kauai is like the birthing portal of souls here? Have you heard about that?
I've
and also
heard about
the
it.
death portal and
Yes, Polahali. I've been there a few times.
Yeah, Polahali is amazing. I love that place.
Yeah.
But are you feeling like things are birthing inside of you? Like,
absolutely. There's no way I could have birthed this business in Oakland, even though it is a mecca for creativity and so much innovation and creative genius, intelligent, beautiful souls there. However, the way that I was living my life for so long, San Francisco is where I went to school. I was there in my 20s and my 30s in Oakland and did a lot of work there. And then now here in my 40s. But I just feel like I wouldn't have been able to birth it. It just was too many other things going on. But here it just feels like I could just lay back, and Mama Kauai is like, I'm in this comfortable place. And then sometimes it's not so comfortable. Don't get me wrong. It's not all paradise. It looks perfect, but there's stuff to work through. I had to work through my own certain shadow stuff here, which is why I feel like an expert in a certain regard to help others move through it. Because I know I've figured out a journey that you can go through to get to the other side. But yeah, but this place feels particularly unique in terms of creating what it is that, especially like around healing work, creating something that, just makes the world shine. This is like the perfect place for that. Very divine feminine and definitely divine masculine as well. It's just this like an amazing balance here. That I've never experienced. And I've lived a lot of places. Actually, I grew up in LA. I'm born and raised. I'm really a Cali girl through and through, most of my life in California. But I've lived in Washington State and on the East Coast in New York and New Jersey for a minute. And I've traveled the world, traveled a lot of places. I just have not experienced what I've experienced here in Kauai. So I feel really blessed and lucky that, as long as Kauai will have me, I'm going to be here for the long term.
It's either she'll welcome you in and give you what you need, or completely spit you out, say, nope, you're not really welcome here. So
I know, and there's been a lot of miracles, I must say. Like
nice.
Look, I'm like, how did that even happen? Like, whoa, what was this? And I meet this person, they say the exact thing, and they offer some place to live, and this, and I mean, it's been like that since I moved here. So many messages and miracles.
Like, let's talk a little bit about manifestation. And I know you're an expert on manifestation and speaking your words and letting them kind of work into your life and create this beautiful reality. So is there kind of a recipe about the manifestation process that you can take our viewers through?
Absolutely. So much of it is is the energetic vibration, I have to say. So you can think about, say, oh, I want were to say something like, oh, I say I want this car, right? And it's like, oh, I just want this car. And you just think about it and then move on. But it's more of like how it would feel to drive the car, how it would feel to go somewhere. I want to go to Kalihiwa in the car. How maybe I want to go and pick up my friend and we go out to eat. Like, how would it feel to do this? It's like the energetic vibration of feeling into the future and making it a now. So instead of like, I feel into the clients I'm going to serve, it feels amazing, and the transformation, and I'm just so lit up and they're so lit up. We're in tears because it's just such a soul beautiful connection that we're in, this special like symbiotic relationship. And so it's like, what does that feel like? And that's how the manifesting begins. And then you begin to become like, I said, well, I'm a manifesting generator. That's my human design. If you know human design, you could look it up. It's really fascinating. But how you can just really think about it, visualize it, and feel into it, and really start to imagine it as your reality now. Because I think sometimes with manifesting, it's like, oh, I just think about it, I'll meditate, and then I'll go about my business, and then I'll have $1 million. Like, it doesn't work like that. It's more about, why do you want it? How are you going to feel? Like, and not to say like, there's nothing wrong with wanting a lot of money. Hey, that's great. Or whatever you want. But it's like, feeling into it and the why, what you're going to do with it. So like I use the example about the car, that's something, but it's like, oh, I'm going to do a house one because I want to manifest. I want to own a house here on Kauai. So I want to feel into what it would be in that, like on that house. It's going to feel like a love vibration. It's going to be in the country. It's picture, there's probably animals nearby. It might be horse ranch nearby. I feel safe. I feel secure. I feel at peace. I picture myself doing yoga in the backyard in the morning. I picture that I'm in harmony with my neighbors, and that it's just a lot of love and ease and flow. I feel it. I feel happy. I feel on those high vibes, not too much of a hustle, or not, you don't want to be in that, because that would change the vibration. Or it's like thinking through every little step. It doesn't matter how you're going to get there. Like, the universe will provide that. You'll get there. But then you also have to take action. So if I have horrible credit, I have no money, I'm not taking any actions. How am I just going to get a house? I guess it could happen, but you really have to do your feelings and then make some action steps as well. I do believe that. So whatever that is, maybe, you start looking at houses, or you start to fix your credit a bit, or, you start to bring in, you have another source of income. So you have a little more money, like you really start to move more in that direction so that you're ready when those opportunities open up for you. For the house, for instance, for me,
Really well said. I can certainly absorb some of those techniques myself, and kind of create space for it to happen and move towards it in a way as well. So it sounds like it's a balanced approach, like a feminine and a masculine, if we can kind of label it that way. It's like,
absolutely,
like listening, feeling, and then moving towards it. Yeah,
and trying not to get in the lack mode, like I don't have this, I don't have that, and if I just had this, then I can be. That's not going to manifest nothing, because I've been there too. Like, if I just had more, blah, blah, blah. It's just like feeling into it, and then just making the actions and really not going into because that's the lowest vibration: scarcity, lack, fear. It's not going to, you can't manifest, you can't create from that place. And I feel for people because they really want to, but when you're in such that survival, scarcity, lack, or a lot of you can't. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it really is about the vibration you're holding, and that's like the. Are you getting this from Abraham Hicks or
well, I do. Yeah, Abraham Hicks. I've definitely listened to them. And for a while, I take breaks with them, but I definitely Louise Hay has been an amazing mother as well. In terms of like learning the mantras, affirmations. I really got into mantras some years ago through Louise Hay and listening while she was alive. Yeah, and then she passed. But yeah, just listening to her on YouTube and watching, she had like, I think it's 101 positive affirmations. And I'm just like, wow, and she has Hay House and all of that. But I do like, Abraham Hicks has a certain vibration in terms of manifesting things. And sometimes it gets hard because it's really much in the head, but they talk a lot about the feeling. So as long as you understand that it is a feeling, and then you're thinking, but there's a feeling vibration.
Yeah, so it's really not kind of an intellectual fantasy approach. It's more like a embodied feeling it to create it, would you
Yeah,
say?
just like how you created, exactly. Just how you said you talked with your wife and you went on this special Kundalini retreat, 38 days to bring in your child. And you literally did that from feeling into it and the action. You know, that's like a perfect example of the manifestation, bringing your daughter. Like, I love it. Like, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for taking me through that. That's yeah, it seems like that was a very streamlined approach to going about, bringing and creating the reality that you want to see and the world around you. Literally, you're thinking your world into being.
Yeah, like talking and like doing the affirmations like you're doing. We talk about it. We could write it down, then you feel it, you meditate, and then you do a lot of visualizations and mock-ups. It helps a lot to feel into that vibration. Like I literally could have a picture, even though my house, I know I'm gonna have a house eventually here. Maybe it won't like look exactly like what, but I have a feeling. You can even go deeper and do a vision board. If those of you who haven't done vision boards, you could could be on anything for the month. You could do it for the year, and you cut out pictures and you do a prayer and you leave it and you look and you're like, okay, this is something that I want to attract in my life as a energetic vibration.
Yeah, it really works for sure. It's one of those things that actually work, and I think that visualizing is important and seeing it. It's and I feel like if we're going to this 5D world out of this 3D into this 5D, it seems to be like it's switching up the kind of the seeing it and believing it. Now it's like believing it and then seeing it. Would you agree? It's kind of flipping the script a little bit about, normally, and I know this for myself, it's like, oh no, I got to see this to believe it. Like I don't see that happening until it's here in front of me versus flipping it around and being like, oh wait, no, I'm the creator.
Yeah.
And I believe it first and then I see it. So that's pretty interesting.
That's what happened here on Kauai. Everything was just a faith-based feeling and seeing it before it came. Like it happens all the time, and I'm just like, just once again, I just believe in divine creator and manifesting and like feeling into that. Yeah. And seeing it and visualizing it.
Manifestating.
Manifestating.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
Stating.
Yeah, these words, they all have these meanings. And when you start breaking down words, you kind of, and a lot of it's based on the ocean. So it's like you're manifest on your ocean, right? You're sailing your ship, manifesting, and you're driving the ship, however there is the wind that is propelling your ship, so it's it's kind of cool, like where are you charting your ship.
That's beautiful. I love that. I know you don't see the wind, you feel it for sure. You feel it pushing the sails to your uncharted destination, because who knows where you're going to end. Well, I guess you know where you want to go, so you're going to go
that's
that
important.
place. It's good to know where you want to go. If you don't know where you want to go, you're going to go, it's going to be willy-nilly. You know what I mean? So really being able to be clear as possible where you want to go when you're manifesting is important.
Specificity.
Yeah, if you're just like, I just want to meet a man. I want to meet a good man. Really? Okay, there's a lot of good men. Oh, I want to meet a man who has a child who's 46. There you go. Or I want to meet... Is
that coming from you, Mirishae?
No, I'm just saying.
That was an example.
Yeah, it's an example, but yeah, this is great. I'm like, how you? I was talking to a friend. She wants to meet someone with a job. I'm like, okay, that's very. You should be a little more specific with that, because you will bring in that with the job, because there are a lot of men with jobs. I'm specifically talking about relationships, but yeah,
sure.
So
you work with your clients on really all types of levels, huh? Like, what are you calling in person? Like, what kind of life do you want? So it's really like this is actually probably some of the most important work, because it's like your life, It's
your dreams. Yeah. It's what you want to manifest into reality. Yeah. I know it's funny. One of my clients, such a beautiful divine soul. She's so talented. We were working together, and she had so much. There was a lot of self-loathing and a lot of mom wounding. Really, it wasn't even her fault. It's just connected to society and mom wounding stuff. And very, she got into a really hard, sad place which she couldn't get out of, and we worked together for a few months. A month later, she's married. She gets married, and now she's having a baby.
Wow.
Her baby's due in a week. She visited here a couple weeks ago, and she's just so happy. She's like, She goes, it's funny to have I think it's okay to share this, but it's funny for her to be the one with no problems, like her feeling like her husband has stuff that he's, whatever, doing. And but I just found it so interesting just to see how quickly that transformation happened. You know what I mean? And it doesn't take years later. You'll literally see it. There's another gorgeous soul, wonderful woman I work with who she wouldn't be mind me sharing this, her testimony. She had coronavirus and put on a lot of extra weight and actually ended up getting gout and just a lot of health body stuff, a lot of body pains and digestive issues. We worked together for a few months. Her gout went away. She slimmed down. She has less of this fear, anxiety, and stress and exhaustion. So much of that has moved out. So just a lot. And it was definitely connected to core wounding for sure. A lot of mama wounding once again. But this work really, it's the real deal, and it just transforms your whole life. That's why the work I say soul transformation or soul activation, because that's what's happening. Mm-hmm.
So what is the name of your business and how do people get a hold of you?
So it's Mirishae McDonald, me, and it's MIRISHAE. You could just do MirishaeMcDonald.com. That's my website, MIRISHAE, and then McDonald, MCDONALD.
We'll have a link in the comments section.
Oh, link, yeah. Or you could book me. You can book me.com. I'm doing 30-minute divine chats, like energetic upgrades, just for you to talk and release, or just feel into whatever. And I will definitely love to check in with you, and we can have that. If you just want to have a chat, that's totally fine. And yeah, I'm on Facebook Live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I do all different topics around soul activation, soul transformation. And today, actually, I'm starting a masterclass for 2 days, and it's going to be for about 45 minutes, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, on my Facebook Live group. I will be sharing it on YouTube, so maybe what I could do is a link, and so you can watch it. But definitely more around just keys to activate your soul. A lot of what we talked about on the show is some of the things that I'll be sharing, and how you could just do this right away. You could just feel the difference, an energetic lift. Like if you're feeling like, whatever, you could shift or look at the shadow. There's a lot. And this show helped you. I hope it's helped you come into some awareness around different aspects of yourself.
Mm-hmm. I know I learned a lot for sure. Thank you so much for coming on the MantraDad podcast, Mirishae McDonald. Mm-hmm. I so appreciate your energy, your vibration, your articulateness, and how you deliver this work and this helpful just knowledge and tips, techniques, tools to help alleviate some of the suffering and to be a beautiful vessel for love and light and creativity flowing through you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I'd love to come on again anytime.
Absolutely.
This has been amazing.
Yeah. And please start your own show, which it sounds like you do have your own show in a way, like on Facebook Live. So
yeah. And I bring people on, and sometimes I interview people. Well, yeah, I did one on creativity, and I interviewed 2 people. Yeah. So absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Aloha.
Aloha.